All right, let's jump right in. If you're a general manager or running fixed ops, you already know the daily grind. But in today's explainer, we're going to zero in on a quiet, almost invisible revenue leak happening right under your nose on the showroom floor. And the worst part? It's literally funding the dealership across the street. So we have to start with this staggering number, 28%. Across the entire auto industry, that is the average chunk of inbound dealership calls that go completely unanswered. Just let that sink in for a second. Almost 1 in 3 customers who are actively trying to reach you to book service, check on a unit, basically to hand you money, they're hitting a deadline, a massive hold queue, or getting trapped in a voicemail maze. Now let's attach a dollar sign to that 28%. If you peg the average automotive lead value at about $2,400, those missed calls, they translate to roughly $750,000. Yeah, $725,000 in lost revenue every single year for an average store. And remember, this isn't hypothetical money from ads you haven't run yet. This is real cash from warm leads who are literally dialing your number. When you break it down like this, it's pretty brutal. That 28% slice isn't just a missed connection. It is revenue you're actively wrapping in a bow and handing to your competitors. Because let's be real, a customer who gets ignored doesn't just sit by the phone waiting. They hang up and they dial the very next dealer on their Google search. So let's talk about how this actually plays out on the floor. Which brings us to the unsold lead story. You know the exact scenario I'm talking about. A customer spends 2 hours kicking tires on your lot, leaves to think about it, gets exactly 1 follow-up text, and boom, 3 weeks later, they're posting an Instagram selfie with a new ride from someone else. You can't really blame the floor salespeople, right? They're swamped with live traffic. They literally don't have the bandwidth to chase down last week's ghosts. Truly recovering unsold leads takes a dedicated, ironclad 30-day cadence. We're talking a personal call within 2 hours of them leaving, and then strategic, relevant touchpoints mapping all the way to day 30. And why be so aggressive with that timeline? Well, here's why. 73% of unsold showroom visitors pull the trigger and buy a vehicle within 2 weeks. That buying window is incredibly tight. If you aren't staying right in front of them with a structured rhythm, honestly, you're just paying marketing dollars to warm them up so your competitor can close the deal. You've got to make sure they buy from you. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I'll just build a follow-up team internally. Well, welcome to the in-house BDC trap. Looking at this setup, the trap becomes painfully obvious. A typical single-point dealer running an internal BDC is burning up to $180,000 a year. You're paying for a couple of agents, a manager, software, training, the whole shebang. But the absolute killer here is the turnover. It hovers around 67% annually. And we all know the week your best agent walks out the door is the most expensive week of your year. Calls drop, follow-up dies, and closing ratios tank. But flip over to an outsourced, fully managed model, you get predictable recurring costs and literally zero turnover headaches. So how do we actually fix this operational chaos? Enter the Ombracol solution. This is where Ombracol Communications steps in. They're a nearshore, fully bilingual BDC that works strictly on U.S. business hours. But the absolute game changer here is their DNA. They were built by a 20-year automotive veteran specifically for U.S. dealerships. These aren't folks selling auto insurance at 9 a.m. and fixing HVAC appointments at noon. Their agents actually know your DMS platforms. They know the difference between a simple recall campaign and a complex equity mining call. Most importantly, they know how to actually book a showable appointment. Their whole philosophy is summed up by this idea: conversations powered by people and technology. And it's brilliant in its simplicity. They know that technology is great for stripping away the operational friction, but at the end of the day, actual human beings need to do the thinking and build the trust. They are absolutely not trying to use clunky bots to replace the human connection that actually sells cars. But here's where the tech really shines. Ombracol uses AI, but not to replace their agents. They use it to make those agents basically bulletproof. The second a call connects, the AI instantly pulls up real-time CRM context. Stuff like what vehicle they're looking at, their past chats, the last time anyone reached out. It even feeds the agent smart on-the-fly objection handling. Then, the moment they hang up, an automatic summary gets logged natively right back into your CRM. Oh, and every single call, 100% of them, is scored by AI for quality assurance. It's just relentless, continuous improvement. Which leads us to what this all looks like in practice. Your new BDC reality. When you combine speed-to-lead coverage under 60 seconds with that flawless native CRM integration, your BDC suddenly flips from being this chaotic, frustrating cost center into a rock-solid revenue protector.
So as a dealership leader, you really have to stop and ask yourself, are you going to keep letting these unanswered calls and unworked leads actively fund your competitors' growth? Because at the end of the day, the hard truth of the auto business is incredibly simple. Every single missed call is someone else's customer. Period. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Honestly, the very next time you hear that showroom phone ringing and nobody picks it up, just ask yourself, which competitor across town did you just pay for today?